Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right this second. Going to explain to you exactly why Fox News prevented Trump from speaking 2 Januaries ago. No, what? No, going now 3 Januaries ago. No, 2 Januaries ago. I'm going to explain why they blocked him from speaking, from actually trying to perhaps quell chaos and mayhem and tell people to calm down. He could have done a lot of things. They stopped him for the very reasons we're going to talk about. And to my super chat, I cannot do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy this, if you enjoy these live streams, your super chat support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Can't do them without you. Your support is greatly appreciated. And to my super chat, thank you so very much. If you want to talk about this topic or any topic we're going to discuss via super chat, your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Politics is a business. It is a racket, but also a business. It is a very lucrative endeavor. It's a very lucrative business. And it's all public relations. Very few people like Trump focus only on policies. Trump actually focuses only on policies. It's everyone around Trump. It's the entire public relations machine around Trump. The same articles are written in the Washington Post, the Daily Beast, the Atlantic, BuzzFeed, Mother Jones, The Nation, Time Magazine, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, Esquire. Saturday Night Live has the same skits, the same theme, the same jokes. There is a public relations monstrosity. If you are too far to the left, if you are Trump, you will get the same treatment. They do not want anyone to either withhold their vote from the Democratic Party or, even worse, vote for Trump. They want you to vote Democrat. If you do not vote Democrat, you are, you should never have been born. You committed blasphemy and heresy. Now, Fox News is not a Trump channel. It's a conservative network. There are numerous people who like Trump, but it is not a network that promotes Trump. It is a network that is conservative, that promotes Republican ideals or viewpoints, not necessarily Trump. There are people that like Donald Trump. But when it comes down to it, they're different from MSNBC and CNN, and they're different from ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, NPR. They're different, obviously. They're really, along with Newsmax, the only conservative channel out there, but they're not necessarily supporting Trump at all times. And the problem that Fox News faces is the following. Trump already surpasses mashed potato brains and the vice president in 2024. So Trump doesn't need Fox News. But Fox News, in a way, needs Trump. Okay, so they're caught between a rock and a hard place. They don't want to be viewed. So Fox News cannot apparently withstand the type of heat, the type of media pressure, the concerted effort to tear down. They can't withstand the Democratic Party's public relations machine. Okay, so they're not, at the end of the day, there are certain things that they are not going to touch. Okay? When Trump was banned from Twitter, by the way, you didn't have Fox News really go to bat for Trump. Okay, you didn't have, I mean, they're a media machine, Fox, but they're not, even though they're actually more popular than all of like CNN or MSNBC, but they're not more popular than CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, The New York Times, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen and Colbert. So they're not more popular than like an entire public relations apparatus, a public relations monstrosity. They will lose money if all of those entities and pundits and newspapers go after Fox. So at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with ideals or with value system. They were accusing Trump. You had never Trump Republicans accusing Trump of working with another country. You had Paul Ryan, you had Richard Burr, you had all of Mitt Romney, you had all of these Republicans, you had John McCain, you had all of these Republicans who went after Trump. And those never Trumpers also watch Fox News. So Trump defeats Biden and he's only received negative media coverage, and he doesn't even have Fox News because it's not lucrative for Fox to completely back Trump. Now, when you want to talk about lies or deceitful statements, Fox had no problem, um, let's say, furthering the lies and deceitful statements of intelligence chiefs or never Trump Republicans or Adam Schiff and other. I mean, actually, they would go after Democrats. That's true. Tucker Carlson is good. Hannity is on the right side of history when it comes to Trump. But you don't really get, I mean, you have Neil Cavuto. You have others. You have Chris Wallace. Who are the equivalent on MSNBC or CNN of Neil Cavuto or Chris Wallace or anyone else? That isn't really that, friendly towards Trump. There is no equivalent. Everybody at MSNBC and CNN is like a fanatical, loyal, obedient Democrat, Democratic partisan. There is no equivalent to The View, for example, for conservatives. That's why what Trump is doing is, and I'm speaking in a verbose, long-winded manner because I have to. Paul Bartlett, hello. Eric, hello. Everybody here. D'Artagnan, hello. Everybody, hello. You have to understand, he already defeats, but Trump doesn't need Fox. He doesn't need any of these. But here's the problem. His strength is also his Achilles heel. So Biden received less negative media coverage. Listen to this, okay? Biden received less negative media coverage than any president on record, while Trump received the most. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Lisa, hello. I am lurking. Hello. So think about that for a second. Imagine if Biden received the worst, the most negative media coverage. I mean, they're propping up. This is when, like, they can talk about lies and deceitful statements and truth, but they're the ones who accuse Trump of something he didn't do. They never accepted Trump, and then they went after him for not accepting things. And now they do this. They market Trump's claims or any suspicion of the Democratic Party as blasphemy, as heresy. How dare you? Oh my goodness. And it's all of them saying the same thing. Yet most Americans don't trust media. And I don't think they care. They're just gonna there's going to be a number of people, probably 30 to 40 to 50 million people on the Democratic Party side that will believe anything CNN and MSNBC and the Washington Post and the New York Times say on any topic. They won't question it. And they'll pretend Fox News is like the embodiment of, evil, while they believe like outright lies from intel agencies and media. And for example, when they're shielded, you have people who are shielded from the truth. They don't know the corruption of Hunter and Joe. They don't know the corruption within the Democratic Party. They don't care that Trump was wrongfully accused. They don't care. They just don't like him. He's not popular. It really comes down to a popularity contest. It's a popularity contest where the least popular is now still defeating what a person considered the most popular. So Trump, in the minds of most of a lot of Americans, I should say, maybe over half, little over half the electorate, is not popular, or I should say, they would never vote for him. But you have to understand, almost half the country, almost half the electorate, even with negative media coverage, would rather have Trump than Biden. And he actually defeats mashed potato brains in recent polls. That's because he is about policies, even though his image is, has been distorted and warped by media. You could say, well, it's his fault too. He plays into it, maybe. But people like his policies. They like his economic policy. They like his foreign policy. They don't like Biden's economic and foreign policy. And there's still enough people in the United States of America who don't care about a popularity contest. And Trump is actually admired by a great many people. I admire Trump. Born and raised hogs! Thank you! Thank you! Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Born and Raised Hogs. Thank you so much. As always, to my super chat, thank you. Born and Raised Hogs, Trump is defeating mashed potato brains, and that is with only negative media coverage. Imagine if media protected Trump the way they protect Biden. Imagine if Fox News protected Trump in the manner they protect Biden. And then they say this is the bedrock of our democracy. He's trying to tarnish our democracy. Trump is the embodiment of American democracy. He's allowed to speak his mind. And if his words or if his opinions and ideas, I mean, even I say he shouldn't go after celebrities or athletes. There's no reason for it in my mind. But if his words or if his ideas offend Democrats, so what? Who cares? These are the same people who said that he was working with the Kremlin without a shred of evidence. Then they say, well, of course there was evidence. A lot of people said he did. That's not evidence. Read the intelligence reports. They're educated guesses from people who despise Trump. The past 7 years has been an appeal to authority against orange mean person because obviously really smart people don't like Trump. The intelligent people who happen to be stupid when it comes to Trump don't realize why he's popular. If you are extremely intelligent and you can't understand why Trump is popular, why people like his foreign policy and his economic policies, because there was record low poverty under Trump, you have the problem. It's not the person who votes Trump, it's you. Vicky, hello. There are a lot of really smart people who despise Trump, and they don't delineate between the media coverage and his policies. And that is sad. I got text messages from beautiful, wonderful, lifelong friends, really wonderful people. I am disappointed in you. How dare you like Trump? He's an authoritarian. And I'm like, did you not open up a history book? Do you not know what true authoritarians have done to people? Do you not, have you ever opened up a history book? He's an authoritarian. These people are have had their it's almost like an artificial intelligence program. And when you if you the people who have integrity in this world um stuck by their friends and family, even though they disagreed with them. Like if you have friends and family that like disowned you or like wouldn't speak to you because of Trump, that's a character issue with that person, because that person, that individual, is shielded from the truth about the Democratic Party. They don't want that everything's a tribalistic, you know, they're into tribalism. They don't see that their political side is even more corrupt than they think Trump is. They don't see that an entire system has bullied Trump, that loyalists within the government have bullied Trump, that media, even if you don't think that there's loyalists within the US government, then look at the text messages of individuals. They would never have allowed what took place to Trump to take place to any Democrat. They would never have allowed a laptop showing incriminating uh, felonies. They would never have allowed that. They would never have allowed Trump to get away with that. They would never have allowed Trump to buy a dossier and use it against Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or President Obama. They would never have allowed this. Insubordinate, hello. Hello, Buttercup. Yes, hello. This is the thing. There are people who are easily influenced by media, and they would be easily influenced in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s by media. If you think that Trump is the embodiment of evil, you would have been a very loyal and good servant of media in the 30s or 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Every dark chapter, every despicable chapter in human history, you would have been a very loyal servant of the prevailing political narrative within pick a specific country where atrocities took place. But if you didn't succumb to the media narrative, if you said, I just don't like Trump, but I'm going to still be friends with, people I know who voted for Trump, then God bless you. You have integrity. You have a certain type of willpower or integrity or character. I just think it was a character test. I really do. I think it was a test of integrity to see people succumb to the hysteria. And it's so easy too. Like people in their 40s and 50s, 30s, 40s and 50s become like middle school kids. They don't want to be seen as, not cool or not. They don't want to. They long for acceptance. So then they long. People who vote Democrat long for acceptance generally. Generally, they can't possibly, because I've seen it on the left. It is a cult. The cult is not Trump. The cult is the Democratic Party. If you leave it, you are excommunicated. You've committed blasphemy and heresy, and you're excommunicated. It is a huge, huge problem if you leave the Democratic Party. And you know, if you're of a background, or if you're origin that Democrats love or claim to care about, oh my God, it means nothing. They'll use that against you also. I mean, here's the thing. You don't even have to like Trump. And I'm speaking in a verbose, long winded manner for a reason. Because before you, I have to speak to the robots. Every word I say, ladies and gentlemen, every word I have ever said on my YouTube channels, I've spoken to robots before before I've communicated with you, I communicate with the robots. That's why when Terminator 2 comes, it's all good. I'll be able to survive. Cuz I cuz I understand how to speak to the AI. But so if I'm long-winded and verbose and you're like, "What is this guy talking about?" It's because I'm speaking to the robots first. But there's a reason that people there's a reason why media have circled the wagons and they're all saying the same thing all the time about Trump because if they don't, he runs away with it. He's really an admirable, he's really, Trump is an American hero for a number of reasons. He doesn't worship intel agencies, he doesn't revere media, he doesn't need media. He can speak his mind. If he's offensive, he's offensive. Generally, he comes from a good place. Generally, he doesn't like, he never said both sides have good people in relation to what the Daily Beast accused him of. That never happened. He literally stated those people should be condemned. That never happened if you read the transcript. That was the epitome of false or fake or misleading or information that misinforms. He never he never alluded to that even because he didn't need to. He got a greater percentage of African American and Latino and Asian Americans his second time around than he did his first. Non-white voters voted more for Trump in his second time around. More for Trump. It was Biden who said uh, to Charlemagne the God what he said. It was Biden who wrote the crime bill. And then they keep talking about, the individuals in the Central Park who were wrongfully convicted. Those were all Democrats that went after those people. Those were all Democrats that put these people in prison. New York was run by Democrats since what, the late 1800s. Then they go after Trump for an ad, okay, but that was the Democratic Party. I think there was one Republican. There was, I think, in if you look at the senators, the governor, the state officials, there was only one top Republican in the entire state, and he had nothing to do with what took place. I mean, Democrats are like unbelievable at masking their own treachery. It's really unbelievable. So, but see again, like if you try to explain to somebody, like, no, there were no spy balloons under Trump. If you try to explain that to somebody, they will say, oh, yes, there were. It's been reported in the news. Well, did you read the article? Did you read the article? What did the article say about Trump? Well, it's been reported. There were spy balloons with Trump. There, these people are the ones who pontificate about information that misinforms. That is the epitome of fake, false. It is false to say that there was spy balloon. It is not information that misinforms. It is categorically false. You cannot make an absurd claim and then say, well, intelligence backs it up. It is not an intelligent claim, but you can't say, well, the government backs up a claim with no evidence, so therefore it happened. So they say, well, reports show, unnamed officials say that it happened under Trump. And guess what? Trump's officials were briefed on it. So what? Who cares? There is no evidence. Where is the evidence? The reason they don't show the public is because then it would be verified. And they can't have their lies um, eviscerated. So they can't, tell you, they can't go ahead and say, oh, wow, this didn't happen. Wow. Jimmy Carter, God bless him. I hope, I hope he's okay. And you know what? There were a lot of good things about Jimmy Carter. Um, and God bless him. I only wish him the best. But even he was like, oh, yeah, the Kremlin helped install Trump. He said this during a conference. There is no evidence that this took place. There was never any evidence, and then it's written as if it's gospel. Where is the evidence? They infiltrated DNC servers for what purpose? Oh, those were emails to help Trump. How did they help Trump? See, if you ask the simple questions, then suddenly the propaganda becomes dismantled. before your very eyes. Well, they were embarrassing. Why were the DNC emails embarrassing? Because they were. Why were they embarrassing? Well, they were just embarrassing. Can you explain why? Well, they showed that Bernie Sanders, well, there was problems with Bernie Sanders. What kind of problems? Okay, fine, Bernie Sanders was cheated. So how is that another country's fault? Oh, well, another country infiltrated the DNC servers to let you know that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus influencing people to vote Trump. Well, why would they vote Trump? Because the truth about the Democratic Party corruption makes you vote Trump. Oh, okay. Oh, so the Russians were so smart that they found a way to inform everyone of how corrupt and despicable Democrats were, thus making people more willing to vote Trump over Clinton. Is that what happened? Well, not really. I mean, kind of, you know. But Clinton had servers with top secret intel for 4 years, and of course, they didn't infiltrate that. They didn't infiltrate the Secretary of State's servers that were unencrypted for the first 3 months, but they infiltrated the DNC because Bernie Sanders was the key to everything. Paul Bartlett, thank you. Exactly, Gen X, exactly. I mean, the thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is such an emphasis on information, and they can't see media in general, they're all losing. Trump is still there. He's still taking half the country. And the other half that doesn't vote Trump is either vote blue no matter who, likes Trump policies but won't vote for him because they'll lose their friends and family, or just kind of they're in the middle, but they don't like the media hysteria. So it's kind of like half the country media was like, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Every 2 seconds, like, "Oh my God, you know what? We're not going to go to Disneyland anymore. This is what's going on here." Like Trump was taking the country towards a better place. But media and Democrats and late night and Jimmy Kimmel, they did not want that. They focused on a caricature of Trump that they thought represented who he was. He is not that caricature. When like Dana White or like other people around, people who know him, celebrities, I mean, they know him. They say, well, that's the way he's portrayed is not who he is. He's very different from the person he's portrayed as. So, and then you have people who are like, "Oh yeah," I was even told by one person, "Central Intelligence, they're so good. They do so much for us." Like, well, can you explain what? Well, they don't like Trump, so they must be right. I'm like, well, I don't know what kind of, I don't know what kind of mentality that is. The only thing I will say is that the only thing, the only thing I would say is he doesn't have to be a count. He doesn't have to counterpunch. He does not have to counterpunch all the time. He doesn't have to do, there's no point, like, there's no point for Trump, even though I like his policies and I like him, and I think that I think he represents something very important and very good. And I think that his economic and foreign policy was infinitely better than what we have now. But there is no point to go after LeBron James or Rihanna or NFL athletes or celebrities or, you know, it's anybody. Like there's no point to it. There's no point to it. It makes no sense. It takes away from it takes away from I mean if Joe Scarborough and Mika and MSNBC, like if he goes at like if he just sticks to going after people in politics, that's a different story. But there's no point in going after none of the 90% of the celebrities don't like Trump. So, I mean, at this point right now, there are diminishing returns to any good publicity you could derive from a negative interaction. So there's a phrase, any publicity is good publicity. That's not necessarily true anymore. He should just focus on policies. People don't know. He doesn't do a, Trump does not do a good enough job of talking about his own policies. That he doesn't do a good enough job of talking about what he accomplished. As he does not do a good enough job of talking about what he accomplished, or um, publicizing what he, like, the good things that he was able to do. He doesn't do a good enough job of that. People should know that. People should know that um, we had record low poverty under Trump in 2019. Oh, and by the way, really quickly, yeah. Oh, what's this? Born and raised Hawks, thank you again. To my super chat, thank you. This, ladies and gentlemen, was in the Wall Street Journal. Hillary Clinton's 2024 comeback. We'll get to 400,000 subs when that happens. Let me ask a question here. This is it. You know what? J Hold, hello. How many people here want How many people want Hillary 2024? How many people want Hillary 2024? How many people answer? Come on now. How many people want Hillary 2024? I do or no? Tell me, let's go. Let's go. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on already. 15 votes, all no. That's hilarious. I'm going to put I do. How many people want How many people want Hillary 2024? Come on. Come on. Come on. I mean, it's 22 votes all no. Yes, finally one I do. We have to have a rematch, that's why. Dieter, thank you. You know what? Let's see. I think sometimes with the messages, if you want to send a super chat, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes they won't allow a certain message. But let's see. Maybe if you rewrite the message, that might be the case. 31 votes. So Hillary's coming back. I was the Nobody cares, but I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I mean, people would laugh at that, which is fine. They weren't the biggest booster. I was. You can imagine how different things were when I was the biggest on the internet. Okay. Um, and I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. So you have to. I'm telling you, the past 6 years since 2016, the past 6 years, ladies and gentlemen, have been um, they've been a consequence of an entire machine losing to Trump in 2016. We're still living in 2016 because Like all of these ideologies, all of these bizarre ideologies, um, they all became more popular in large. Like you wouldn't have all of these. You wouldn't have, in a way. I mean, I don't want to say this, but the country wouldn't have been as fractured. The country would not have been as fractured if Clinton had won in 2016 because the machine, the system, would have been happy or placated. The system, the machine would have been placated. So you would have, they wouldn't have, you know, reacted in such an apoplectic manner. Um, they wouldn't have been, there wouldn't have been this maniacal frenzy, this hysterical maniacal frenzy going after Trump. And so it's interesting. I mean, could you imagine, let's say Clinton won in 2016, there would have been so many scandals, Trump would have just run away with it 4 years later. But Lord knows what would have happened in terms of foreign policy. We could be experiencing. I mean, there might very well have been an invasion, 4 years earlier than there was with Biden, or 6 years earlier. So who knows? It's interesting because I don't think Trump really knew what he was getting into at first. I don't think he knew the extent. I don't think he knew the extent of what they were willing to do to get retribution. Like, and here's the thing: it was quite successful. Like all that, every when they went after Trump, they didn't find anything because he didn't commit a crime, but it was very successful. You had billions of dollars in media, revenue, billions in revenue. They made a great deal of money going after Trump. It's very lucrative. They used to say there was a cottage industry going after the Clintons who routinely like bended or broke laws. Again, I think Hillary's going to be the 20. If Clinton is not the 24 nominee, she's surrounded by imbeciles. She should be the 24 nominees right there. It's right there. Now, I'm actually saying that she could very well win if Georgia and Arizona don't. If Georgia and Arizona don't back Trump, she'll actually win the presidency, which would be very interesting. Exactly. I'm lurking. Exactly. Exactly. To my super chat, thank you. Also, Born and Raised Hawks, thank you. That's the thing. Also, when they call Trump a narcissist, what what's the playing field they're looking at? What's the playing field that they're looking at? Are they looking at Biden, Clinton? What are they looking at in terms of what are they looking at in terms of um so you mean to tell me that Madam Secretary is not a narcissist? She's not a narcissist? Hmm, that's interesting. How does that work? By the way, I did a very interesting segment, I think, on Trump setting up Pence. It's kind of amusing because Pence now Pence is now being investigated by the FBI because Trump, um, rightfully so, justifiably invoked executive privilege. So Pence is the good Republican. Mike Pence is the good Republican. He's the good Republican. He's the good salt of the earth Republican. Here's the good Republican. Oopsie! Now you got the FBI after you because because being the good Republican will not stop Democrats or government agencies going after you. It's just they think that if they're like, I read the National Review and the Washington Examiner. I think that they're very good publications. I really do. I really do. I think that they're great publications, but there's a lack of awareness at the National Review. They don't comprehend the reality of what's taking place. They think that a good Republican like DeSantis will placate media and that media and Democrats will treat DeSantis the way Democrats treated Romney. Those days will never take place again. They'll never take that world. Okay, here. This this world right here. Hold on one second. Here. Paul Ryan workout. Okay, this is never happening again. Those 25-pound weights. Whoever was 25 pounds, you couldn't just get it to 30. Or you know what? Just use fake weights like Chris Cuomo. Get it to 50 or 60. This is Time Magazine, by the way. Okay, this will never happen again. That's like the National Review thinks that this type of article in Time Magazine will be published. Paul Ryan all pumped up and ready for his close up. Paul Ryan, yeah, pumped up. If we can just have a good Republican, we can have Paul Ryan pumped up again. Not true? This will never happen again. This will never, ever happen again. Do you understand? This is never going to happen. There will never be another Republican picture like this from Time Magazine. I mean, think about how different the world was. Here, when Time Magazine named Paul Ryan a runner up, there will never be another Republican. Even Adam Kinzinger won't be one. Many were familiar with the budget bill, but few knew that the Wisconsin state fit with the now best selling P90X. Okay, so there you go. Time asked. So it's like you're never going to get Donald Trump Jr. all pumped up, Eric Trump, and ready for his close ups. It's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Okay, the National Review thinks that DeSantis that Politico and Time and all these publications will do the same articles. It's not going to happen. There will never be another moment where Republicans are treated in this manner by media, even if they're nice and they're because let's say Adam Kinzinger or Liz Cheney or Mitt Romney or DeSantis was, standing in the way of presidential power. Media would never do. All right, am I back? Or is it Jeffrey Tubin time? Just joking. All right, let's see. Let's see if I'm back. I start a poll. Can you hear and see me? All right. So Paul Ryan broke my Rebecca, hello. Jeremy, hello. Paul Ryan broke my live stream. Love trucks, hello, and subordinate, hello. So there's never going to be another time in like I can't imagine another time when when you have this type of writing or this type of coverage of a Republican. Say sinful solution, hello. It's just not going to happen. That is just it's just simply not going to happen. But that Dieter Andrew, hello. Kinsey. Ah, that's funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I'm gonna restart the eight. I'm gonna do a 7:45. Should I do a 7:45 or 8:30? Should my first segment be 7:45 or 8:30? Hold on one second. Okay. So, so here. Should I Okay, so which one of the following time schedules for videos in the morning should I do? 8:30 and 11:30 or 7:45 and 11:45. All right, I guess this isn't like, the most important question in the world, but here. So what in terms of the time slots, what should I do? Should I do tomorrow 7:45 and 11:45 or 8:30 and 11:30 Pacific? Which one? Oh wow, okay. Wow. Oh, there's only 10 votes, so let's see. Wow, okay. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. So tomorrow morning, I'll restart the morning videos. Um, and it'll be 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, okay? 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. So be here every morning 8:30 and 11:30. I don't know why I don't know why I stopped doing that because I'm a schmuck, I don't know. But every single morning, set your dial 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. and Born to Raise Hogs, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough, sir, as always, for your kindness and generosity. And to my super chat, thank you. Everybody, be here tomorrow, 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Have a great evening. God bless. I will see you very soon, everybody. Thanks so much. Be here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. D, thank you.